So why is it wrong to tell Black Americans that they're African and need to be proud of that and accept it from a DNA perspective? Let's get into it. Vic Mensa opened up his video sharing the average DNA results for the Black American, with 73% African, followed by European and Native American. This is an autosomal DNA test. And people keep putting these DNA tests in Black Americans' faces like it's some kind of gotcha moment, but they don't read the white paper, the fine print for the autosomal DNA test. If you don't want to read the whole thing, be sure to read the reference panel. That's how they determine where you are from based off the DNA strand. So these reference panels tell us that the DNA test is an estimate, an educated guess. Under perfect circumstances, we would construct our reference panel using ancient DNA samples of a true ancestors for each person likely to be an Ancestry DNA customer, etc. Unfortunately, it's not possible to sample historical populations. We must rely on DNA samples collected from individuals alive today who can trace their ancestry to a single geographic location. Raise your hand if you're a Black American and been told that your ancestors come from somewhere in Africa. Exactly. Okay, that brings me to the next problem. So Dr. Lakeisha David has been trying to connect Black Americans to their living relatives in Africa for about almost 10 years now, because I reached out to her back in 2019, I believe. And she is having a hard time. She's giving out free DNA kits in Chicago. So if you live in Chicago, go take a DNA test with Dr. Lakeisha David to see if you have living relatives in Africa. Now, when it comes to the Clotilda and the descendants from the Clotilda, one of my cousins is a descendant of one of the survivors from the Clotilda. And even on his DNA test, he's not matching any living relatives in Africa. Now, let's take a step back further and look what Black Americans had to say before us. Langston Hughes said, "My ancestry goes back at least 4 generations on American soil and through Indian blood, many centuries more." Let's look at what Frederick Douglass said about being a Black American. "When the day shall come, they will not pervert and sin against the verity of language as they do now by calling a man of mixed blood a Negro. They will tell the truth. Men of mixed blood in this country apply the name Negro to themselves, not because it is a correct ethnological description, but to seem especially devoted to the Black side of their parentage." 200 years ago, this was in 1886, there were 2 distinct and separate streams of human life running through this country. Now, between these 2 extremes, an intermediate race has arisen. American Negro distinct type, declares scientists. White and Indian blood adds to the physical differences, concludes Columbia University anthropologist. American Negro, a mixed race. Negroes in America are hardly entitled to call themselves African. They have too much Caucasian and Indian blood in them.
Let's talk food. Gumbo is a Bantu word for okra. Ngumbo.
And why'd you skip right over grits? You skipped right over corn. That was the #1 Negro food said by Frederick Douglass himself. The nixtamation process is unique to the indigenous Black American. That is a process we learned from our American Indian ancestors, that when they brought that corn to Africa, they were not nixtamalizing the corn. They were not putting that lye in that corn. And that's why the Africans were getting pellagra. And last but not least, I'm not listening to somebody who wished they was white when they was a little boy. Roll the clip.
Man, that hit me like a lightning bolt, because I don't consciously remember that, but I do remember as a child being like, I wish I could just be Black, or I could just be white, you know what I mean, and feel fully accepted. Human beings, we crave acceptance. We long heard acceptance.
Until you can show me my blood relatives and other Black Americans, our blood relatives living in Africa today, cut this out.